Coming up, students and faculty weigh in on NAU's mix of online and face-to-face learning. Plus, the wave of warmer temperatures in Flagstaff broke records this summer, and that could have long-term effects. News starts now.
You're watching NAZ Today, Northern Arizona's local news.
Good evening and welcome to NAZ Today. I'm Joy Johnson.
And I'm Sheridan Moronic. Thanks for tuning in.
A group of homes were evacuated this morning after a fire broke out in the Doney Park area northeast of Flagstaff. Residents were allowed back to their homes this morning. The cause of the fire is still unknown. The first fire near Burns Lane at Pine County Lane was knocked down last night after burning 2 acres, but flared up again this morning. Wildfire crews are now mopping up in the area. Authorities are looking for 38-year-old Rachel Ray Bridges, who is believed to have a connection with the fire. She is 5'5", weighing 110 pounds with brown hair and green eyes. If you or someone you know has any information, call the number on your screen.
Temperature and precipitation records have been shattered throughout the summer, as they were last summer, leaving many residents to wonder if things will ever return to normal. NAZ Today's Christian Ayala takes a look.
Flagstaff has always been a hotspot when it comes to its unique climate within the Southwest. Unfortunately, this past August was reported to being the warmest in history, according to the National Weather Service.
I feel like this is hotter than I've ever seen it in Flagstaff in the last 20 years. Very dry. It makes it really tough to get out and enjoy life like we used to here in Flagstaff.
Flagstaff hasn't been the only city experiencing record-breaking heat. Cities like Page and Winslow are also facing the same issue, and researchers say this trend will only continue to get worse.
This summer's heat wave is only due to the bigger trend of climate warming, but it is an example of what we expect in a warming world. We expect to see more extreme high temperatures.
However, this isn't the only issue concerning Flagstaff. Many of the region's vegetation could also be at risk due to rising temperatures in the future.
Many, tens of thousands of years ago, we had a completely different kind of vegetation regime in Flagstaff. So we know that with sustained temperature differences, we can get a totally different type of forest.
The rising heat can also increase the chance of illness and even death among older people and those with chronic health conditions. Higher demand for water would also become a growing issue as Flagstaff's population continues to rise. So as the city continues to change, so should its residents.
As individuals, those efforts may seem very minor, but we have to keep in mind that our behavior can influence others. And so we have to think of it more as a contribution to part of a collective effort.
Christian Ayala, NAZ Today.
Flagstaff police are mourning the death of a fellow officer. The body of Jarrett Sugart was found at his home on Saturday. The cause of death was a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Flagstaff Police Department officers went to Sugart's residence to conduct a welfare check when the body was found, and there was no one else in the home at this time. As is standard practice, the Coconino County Sheriff's Office has taken over the investigation. Officer Sugart had been on the job since 2014. If you or someone you know is struggling with thoughts of suicide, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at the number on your screen.
Prescott Valley Police are reviewing the use of force during a police canine attack that occurred in May. 28-year-old Alfredo Saldivar was pulled over after a report came in of a car traveling at speeds of 100 miles per hour. Police say the dog was brought in after Saldivar hesitated to comply with officer demands. Body cam footage shows Saldivar pleading, "Please stop the dog." Saldivar is being held at the Yavapai County Jail while the case is under review. Summer is over, and that means school is back in session for NAU students. Like many universities, NAU started a hybrid system known as NAU Flex, where some students take classes online and others come to campus, or both. We've caught up with faculty and students to hear what they think. Around campus, there are few students walking to class. This is NAU's new normal because of COVID. NAU Flex was introduced as a way to allow students to attend classes in person with less risk. NAU professor Jerome Mahaffey says it was a rather abrupt transition.
The public speaking class was scheduled to be in person, and COVID changed all that. And so when we started, I was told we can have the room half full, but we had to do the other half of the students online.
Mahaffey says hybrid teaching presents unique obstacles to learning, but it's getting easier.
I was scrambling to try to get everything set up properly, and it's been a challenge, especially with public speaking, with getting students to deliver their speeches to a camera in their dorm rooms or apartments or home. We're still working our way through it.
The more time passes, it seems, the easier hybrid learning is for students, too. Junior Rachel Dooley struggled at the beginning, but now she's getting used to it.
It's gotten a lot better, but at the beginning I was definitely overwhelmed with all of the synchronous and figuring out the classes from afar and not having that close proximity to your class and your professor.
It might be too early to tell whether NAU Flex was the right move and what effect it may have on student success. But for now, it seems, students and faculty are just trying to get through it and stay safe. Sheridan Moronic, NAZ Today.
With COVID-19 still looming, some local businesses that reopened face new protocols to prevent spreading the virus.
NAZ Today's Connor Trett tells us that is certainly the case for the Sacred Ground Tattoo Shop here in Flagstaff.
You might think that the last thing people would want to do in a pandemic is get a tattoo. But for Flagstaff's oldest shop, Sacred Ground Tattoo, business seems to be good. Tattoo artists say that they are doing what is necessary to keep clients safe.
Since we're dealing with blood and airborne pathogens, we got to clean our areas, and it's pretty much the same protocol as, protecting ourselves against COVID. We cover everything that any fluid's going to get on with plastic, cover up our equipment with plastic or a barrier sheet.
For the record, all interviews were conducted using social distancing. Sacred Ground Tattoo, along with many other tattoo shops in the U.S., are bracing for the massive influx of customers coming in November. Every Friday the 13th, tattoo shops traditionally discount their services, leading to lines around the block. Having faced similar crowds just before the coronavirus shut down the shop in March, Sacred Ground didn't have the same protocols in place that they do now.
We could get a lot of people in here, there'd be a lot of people trying to get the Friday the 13th specials. The last Friday the 13th, I would think, was right before the lockdown.
For tattoo artists working both on a Friday the 13th and during the early stages of a global pandemic, it was a stressful experience to say the least.
We kind of, buzzed through it, and, there was a lot of people and a lot of people from all over the place. Who knows if I came in contact with somebody, but yeah, that was kind of a little bit of a scary situation.
Since March, the shop's artists and owner have been working on a way to better prepare for the next Friday the 13th, and have worked out a system to minimize the number of people in the shop.
We're probably just gonna have tickets, so if you want to come in and get a Friday the 13th tattoo, you come in, we give you a ticket. That way we don't have lines and crowds.
Despite having to cut back his hours due to health concerns, the shop's owner, Dave Maestas, says there's no other business he'd rather be in.
I'm just happy doing something that I love and being able to do it as a living. To me, that's my idea of success.
Connor Trett, NAZ Today.
Coming up, Hurricane Sally gains strength as it slowly moves toward the Gulf Coast. Stay with us.
Good evening, student forecaster here, Aaron Vidito. Now, we are seeing some potential record-breaking monsoon season here. Not in a good way, though. We're seeing in Page Flagstaff the second driest monsoon season and Prescott the driest monsoon season. Now, we're going to take a closer look at this graph and talk about what that means in the future coming up. Stay with us.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Planning the right amount of food is hard. The Guestimator makes it easy. Just tell it who's coming and what's for dinner, Then it tells you how much to make. And yes, it even plans for leftovers. Try it at SaveTheFood.com.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww. You should pick that up.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how. Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Welcome back. As Hurricane Sally grows stronger, up to 30 inches of rainfall is expected to fall along parts of the Gulf Coast. The hurricane is aimed near Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle, and it's expected to move towards Georgia and the Carolinas. CNN's Chris James has the story.
My fellow Alabamians, Hurricane Sally is not to be taken for granted.
Bracing for the storm. Flooding is already being seen in some low-lying areas, as slow-moving Hurricane Sally is set to pound parts of the Gulf Coast with rain for another day Tuesday, before making landfall, raising fears of a potential historic rainfall event.
We are looking at record flooding, perhaps breaking historic levels. And with rising water comes a greater risk for loss of property and life.
Mandatory evacuations have been announced along the coasts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama ahead of the storm. Sally's center may not move over land until Wednesday morning, perhaps near the Mississippi-Alabama state line, forecasters now say. But the storm keeps changing.
And so I really think that the entire Mississippi Gulf Coast and the entire Alabama Gulf Coast has to be on alert because of the lack of predictability of Hurricane Sally.
Along with heavy rain and flash flooding, strong winds and dangerous storm surges are also possible.
It just takes one or two mistakes and you lose lives, and we don't want to lose any life.
I'm Chris James reporting.
What do you think it would be like to teach? Chances are, you have no idea. Teachers today are breaking down obstacles, finding innovative ways to instill old lessons, proving that greatness can be found in everyday places, and that you don't need to be famous to be unforgettable. That's what it's like to teach.
I just found out my work party is a +1. You want to go? This is my boss, Ella.
Nice to meet you, Greg.
You're welcome. Nope, I'm high. But I'll clean the kitchen while you're gone.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
Pool party at Jesse's. Can you drive? I'm toasted.
Nope, I'm high. But I can order us a ride.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
I was 0.5 credits away from completing high school, and I didn't do it. My support team never stopped pushing for me to be better because they knew who I could become as a person. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back. Student forecaster Aaron Vidito here, back again. Time to find out what record brain meant. That's going to haunt me forever. No, record-breaking low precipitation totals across the state here. Taking a look at this graph one more time, you can see the blue here being normal rainfall for a monsoon season, the orange being a total. Now, a monsoon season this year is June 15th through September 30th, so there is still time to bring this up, but not a ton of time. Now here in Page, we see a little bit below average here. A lot closer than Flagstaff, though. You see 7.06 for our average, and we're only at 1.78. Prescott, the driest on record for Prescott, 2.08. As opposed to 6.98. 2.08, that's an interesting number because that's the number we hit last year when we broke that record that was previously set in 1978, 2.31. Shattered last year, 2.08 being our lowest here. So not a lot of precipitation. And if we don't have a lot of rain in the next 2 weeks, and looking at the forecast, we very well might not. We could break a record, and that there is 2 record-breaking years in a row. And Christian Ayala earlier filled you in on what that means in the future. But if you need a reminder, we need to adapt to that because that could become the new normal, and vegetation definitely is probably going to suffer a bit, if not change completely. Now looking at Flagstaff currently, we're still seeing some dry climate here, 12% relative humidity, low temperature right now of 74 degrees, which is on average for this time of year, but our high definitely wasn't. 81 degrees, and we're going to continue seeing average to above average highs. Is a little unseasonably warm, and we're going to see that all around the state. Our average here being 73 degrees, but our low, 40 compared to 42, is actually about on average, which is interesting. Now looking at our precipitation, we are almost half of what we usually get, 8.46 for the entire year, not just monsoon season, with our average clocking in here at 15.40. So yeah, pretty dry year overall, not just during our monsoon season. Now across the state here, high temperatures, Sedona 83, Phoenix 102, Page 93, about average, above average, pretty warm temperatures. Tonight dropping all the way down to 40 degrees, clear. At the moment, it's we're seeing some clouds in the sky, but those are starting to clear out, and they're going to continue to clear out for tomorrow, looking at our high of 82 degrees, about what we had today, just a degree warmer. So still some of those higher than average temperatures for Flagstaff and really across the state. And looking across the state, speaking of which, 97 in Sedona, 94 Prescott, 94 Page as well. And Lake Havasu and Phoenix both sharing 107, the highest in the state. At the very least, though, we have the lowest low at 41. So at least we have that going for us. Looking at our extended forecast here, like I said, 82 tomorrow, 83, and then temperatures are going to dip a little bit as we see some clouds roll in on Friday, 80 degrees, 79, 78. Clouds are going to roll out. Now, it's not in the extended forecast here, but on Monday, we are going to see, at the moment, a 10% chance of precipitation. Not a high chance, but I am saying there is a chance that we will not break that record low for our precipitation totals. Now, I don't want to end on a low note, so shout out to my best friend's Cat Fondue, 3rd birthday. Some good news. I mean, weather shouldn't be all dismal. And speaking of good news, we'll be right back with sports with Susie Conrad. Stay with us.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
I think someone at my friend's school has this thing called autism. My friend's brother's son has autism. My neighbor's son has autism. My son has autism.
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 88 children is diagnosed with autism. That's a 1,000% increase in the last 40 years. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
Wow, these are really good.
You act surprised. Practice makes perfect.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. Why would you do that?
Probably okay isn't okay. Call a cab, a car, or a friend.
Good choice.
Welcome back to NAZ Today. I'm your sports reporter, Susie Conran. This year has been a wild ride for sports across the country. Luckily, we're going back to being able to watch sports, but not in person. COVID-19 has changed the way fans have to watch games. For social distancing and safety purposes, there are no fans sitting in stadium seats rooting for their team. Not only does this change things for the fans, but the athletes are having to adjust to having empty seats. Professional sports are filling the gap with recorded crowd noise in previous games and adding cardboard cutouts of fans that give it a real game feel. So, for now, watching at home is the only way to show your support. Flagstaff and Coconino High School, lucky enough, get to hit the field this season. We checked in with both schools to see what their plans for safety will be this semester. Coconino head coach Mike Lapsey says that this is what they're going to do to make sure they stay safe.
We're obviously keeping our separation. We've got hand sanitizer, bleach wipes, we mask up. So we're doing everything we possibly can to make sure everybody's safe out here.
Flag High football coach Todd Hanley is closely following the same measures for COVID response so that his team can take the field.
I'm sure you saw the girls walking around, our managers with the bug sprayer thing. That's the disinfectant, and they go through and do all the footballs and the pads and everything after we use them. We started out in very small cohorts of like 10 athletes. They would come in at all different times, so we never had like a practice like this where there's multiple people. And we try to minimize the duplicate use of equipment, so if an athlete's using a bag, we don't have another athlete use that bag until after they've been disinfected.
Taking a look at college sports, the Big Sky Conference has decided to postpone all fall sports until the spring season. The Big Sky is looking out for the health and safety of the athletes and all that are involved with the sporting events. The Lumberjacks are still participating in practice as usual. Let's hope for a healthy start to the sports in the spring. Moving on to professional sports, the Arizona Cardinals hit the road for their season opener against the San Francisco 49ers. Both teams started the game strong. The 49ers scored 10 in the first quarter and the Cardinals scored 7. Going into the second half, neither team made a mark until the fourth quarter. The Cardinals started their season strong, coming out on top, winning the game 24-20. The MLB has made this season a short one. The regular season this season is only 60 games. Diamondbacks are 48 games into their 60, standing 17-31. The D-backs are starting their series against the Los Angeles Angels, who are 20-28. Madison Bumgarner is taking the mound for the D-backs tonight. This will be his third start after being taken off the injured list for a back strain close to a month ago. This season, Bumgarner is 0-4 with a 7.52 ERA. The series starter will be aired on FS1 tonight at 6:40. We will be back with more NAZ Today after the break.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. Yeah. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent.
thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
I grew up in the housing projects of Cleveland. I didn't even know that life could be any better than it was. Education for me has been a way to get away from the agony of what was normal life. I want to be able to impact the community, not just look back on where I came from, but to reach back to where I came from and pull some people up with me. My name is David, and I am your dividend.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
Welcome back. Once again, happy birthday to Fondue, my best friend's cat. And I start with that good news, because if you're like me and you love fall, then these record warm, record dry temperatures are a little depressing here. But it looks like it's going to gradually decrease throughout the weekend, just not, you know, to the 50s, 60s where I kind of want it. But hey, if you enjoy that warm weather, good time to get out.
Thanks, Aaron. Even though it's a little bit hot here, the weather in Flagstaff has been beautiful these last couple days. It makes me want to take a drive out to Lake Mary or even Sedona.
And I took a drive to Lake Mary last weekend, and let me tell you, it was gorgeous. And speaking of driving, luxury car lovers with the need for speed will be in for a treat this winter season. You'll be able to drive an Aston Martin race car as fast as you want from the comfort of your own home. Today, the luxury car maker said it's releasing this racing simulator branded as the ultimate in luxury esports experience. The simulator provides an immersive driving experience. If you want to add this to your Christmas shopping list, you better do it soon. The company is only making 150 of these, and they're only going for about $75,000 if you've got that in your pocket. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to check out our website, naztoday.com, and follow us on social media at NAZtoday.
We'll see you guys back here tomorrow at 6. What do you guys get for dinner? I think it's really good.